Hello, everybody. Welcome on into Clay Shares Live at 5. I'm Jessica Putnam-Phillips, and tonight we have a special guest joining us. We have Paula McCoy from Colors for Earth, and you may have seen her recently here on ClayShare for ClayShare Con, or you may have seen her in many of the demos she has done in the past. Well, tonight she's got a very beautiful spring project for you. It's a surface decoration class, and it's painting Eileen's tulip. So it's just a beautiful tulip painting class. And you can put this on any clay. So you are going to absolutely love this class. You're going to love Paula if you've never taken any before. Again, check them out. Now, Colors for Earth is her company, and they make these beautiful colors. She has these lovely translucent underglazes, and she also has some opaque ones, along with beautiful brushes and lots of other products. You have seen me use her Colors for Earth when I do color flooding, like I did on this teapot. So if you want to make this, go check out the teapot class. And then Paula did a tutorial with us, I think it was either last year or the year before, where she made this super sweet Aloha rooster. So this is a step-by-step class. So you can go check that out as well. Now, tonight's demonstration has a downloadable PDF that you can go ahead and print out so you can work along with Paula and watch this video later. All right, so let's head on down to Texas and see how Paula's doing. I know they've been having some storms, so hopefully everything will be okay for the broadcast for tonight. So hey, Paula, how you doing?
Hi there. Yeah, hopefully the storms are over for a little while. We can get through this.
I hope so.
The computers have been off, so just turned them on. But anyway, thanks for having me. And tonight we're going to do a tulip, and I've got some background techniques to do with you, some shading, some drippy. So there's quite a few different things going on. So I'm going to get started and review all those things. And as Jessica said, there is a PDF that if you're on ClayShare, it's right below the video that you can download, or you can find it on my blog also. Okay. All right. So this is the piece, and I apologize. I did not get this glaze fired. I have a kiln that's down at the moment, so I will post it when I get it done. So we've got a drippy background. We've got watercolor technique on the petals and the leaves. And I just noticed okay, it's changed on my end. You want me to go back? Okay, so I'm back here. And did it change now? Okay, because on my end it changed, but okay, so
We'll get you all situated.
Yeah, while Kevin's doing that, I'm gonna just I'll talk.
Yeah, go ahead. Share some things that you've made.
Yeah, so like I said, I worked on O10 bisque or soft fired. A lot of times I'll do that just because I don't tend to break it at O10, or if I'm traveling and teaching instead of trying to travel with greenware, O10 is a really good. I learned this from David Hoff many moons ago, probably 25-30 years ago. So it makes it more sturdy, especially if you're working with seniors or you're just, sketchy about painting on greenware. I love to paint on greenware because it's easier on your brushes, first of all. It doesn't eat up your brushes. So do you want me to try it again, Kevin? Because I don't see it changed on your end either.
Well, we'll get the camera situated, and Kevin will work on that and get it all figured out. No big deal. This is, we got a few minutes anyways, and we can always go over if we need to make sure you can cover everything that you want to share. So just to let everybody know, I'll be moderating this. So you're not going to be seeing me, you're going to be seeing Paula. But if you have questions for Paula, just go ahead and type them into the chat wherever you're watching. And then I can relay those questions to her. And if it's something she's already answered, I will go ahead and just type in the answer so we don't interrupt her and her workflow, because I know she's got a lot of great techniques to share with us tonight.
I'm going to try a different screen, Kevin, to see if, and that one didn't come up either. It doesn't look like. I thought I.
Nobody can hear Nobody hears Kevin. Yes, go ahead.
Yeah, nobody can hear Kevin.
Okay.
You
All right,
want me to log out?
we're gonna little tech test with Paula and Kevin. They're gonna go ahead and work on
Kevin,
the
you want
other
me to log
end.
out?
I'm going to just hang out and share some things with you and talk a bit about Paula's colors and everything. So, you know, Paula, I don't know how many demonstrations she has done with us now. I would say near 10. So there's a lot of classes, and she always does ClayShareCon. So I want you to go and write down this website, colorsforearth.com, because you're going to want to go check out what she has. In addition to the products she sells, she has a blog on there, and the blog is full of tutorials, not just the ones she's done on ClayShare, but she does her own tutorials. So if there's something you want to learn how to do, she has got a tutorial on it. She is a master brushstroke artist. So if you love surface painting and surface decoration, she is the one to teach you all the techniques, how to load your brush, how to hold the brush, how to make the stroke. And she has really great terms like mushy mushy, which I kind of like. So, and you know, because anytime we can make up our own terminology in pottery, the better. And so she'll walk you through all of her classes, and she's just really fun. And if you have questions, you can always reach out to Paula. She's happy to help you. Now on social media, her social media is Ceramics by Paula, not Colors for Earth. So I just want to let you know, because every time I type in Colors for Earth, I have to stop myself and say, no, it's Ceramics by Paula. So if you follow her, you can see all the projects she's been working on. And Paula does travel quite a bit and teaches workshops. So you can go and you can learn from her in person. So if you go to Colors for Earth on her website, I'm sure she has all the information on what she has upcoming. So I just want to share some of my favorite colors that she has right here. And I don't know if you all will be able to see this because my camera 2 is not going, Kev. There we go. So we'll get camera 2 up on my end and I'll share them with you. So I fire to cone 5.5. So here's my test plate right here. And you can see all the colors right here. And you can see how bright they stay. And what I love to do is I did 3 coats on each one. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. So you can see what the colors are going to look like if you just do 1 coat, 2 coats, 3 coats. And this is, if I want to do a really light watercolor, I can use it just 1 stroke. If I want a more opaque, really rich color, I'll do 3 coats. Now you can also do a technique called flooding, which is one of my favorite things to do. And you know, I love texture. I'm all about texture. And I'm always adding texture to my pieces. So what do you do after you make your piece with all this texture, and you bisque fire it, and you want to do a really beautiful color design, but you don't want to be like painting strokes, right? Well, flooding is different because what you do is you water down the color, you put it in a palette, you water it down, and then holding this so that it's level with the ground, so it's face up, you just take your brush and you load it up with color, and then you just touch the clay, and the clay will absorb the color, and it creates different levels of intensity in here. So some of the colors will be a little deeper, some will be a little softer. It's the same color, but it creates this really pretty watercolor effect. I'll back out a little so you can see. But I just really love doing the flooding. Look at this little cone flower on the handle that I did right there. And it has this nice softness, and you can do it for the lighter colors. You can do really bright ones. Let me show you another. Actually, I want to show you the lid too. And of course, you could just do stain the whole thing and white back and then one really pretty glaze. Absolutely, if you want to. But this is a really nice way. Oh, that's so pretty right there. That color. That's the aqua splash that Paula has. I did, oh yeah, let me show this too. This is a good one. All right, so another way you can use them is if you use underglaze decals and you want to add color to them. If you have a black line and you don't want just black and white, you can go ahead and use the Colors for Earth. You could do it when it's green, or you can do it on bisqueware. This one I did it on bisqueware, and the reason it's super reflective is because I put mother of pearl luster and fired it again. So this one has that extra little bit of, oh, do you see right there? Do you see the surface? Do you see that oil slick? That's the luster. But if you look, you see the colors and how beautiful they are. And the color here, this was the red, and I did it really soft, you can see, and then I went back and did another layer so I could build up the intensity. So that's another way you can use them. The other thing I want to say with the Colors for Earth color concentrates, which is what these are, they are translucent so that you can actually see through them. They're not opaque like many underglazes are, so they're not chalky. So I don't have to worry about it being like really uneven. And for the flooding, I think there was a question, how many coats? When I do the flooding, it's one coat. So I'll just take that watered down color, and the brushes I tend to use the most are these. And if you look up color flooding on ClayShare, you will see I have many tutorials to teach you how to do it. I think I've done like 3 of them at least. And it's super simple. If you haven't done it before, give it a try. It's a really, really easy technique to do. So if you're just starting out, this would be a good thing to consider. And if you're nervous about doing a big pot like a teapot, go ahead and start with something small. Like how about a tea infuser, which is another great class we have here on ClayShare. So this, I flooded the color. Do you see how intense the color is on these? Let me grab that teapot lid back again. So when you look at this, you see how soft the color is here? This is the same color, but I just went thicker with it. So when I flooded, I didn't add as much water to this one as I did to this. And the same with the red and the orange, yellow, green, the blue, the purple. I just wanted more vibrant colors for this one. But same exact colors. Let me turn it so you can see the rainbow. Same exact colors, just more intensity on the tea infuser that I did. Will flooding work on the new Impressa mats? Yeah, they will, actually. They'll work great on those. And one of the things that I did with the Impressa mats is, let me see if I have anything to flood. I don't have anything right here, but let me show you the mats. So on the mats, the way they're designed, there you go. So anything recessed is going to be raised, and that's going to basically build a wall so that you can flood in there and not worry about the color getting away from you. And that's the beautiful thing. And how it works is you need a raised, well, let me go back to this. So do you see how this is raised right here? The little outline of the petal is raised, and that's actually what's keeping the color in. So that raised outline on the designs, this one when I did it, and this is my rainbow mini, when I designed it specifically to be used for color flooding, although you can use it for other things. But I was really conscious when I was making all these flower elements that they all had a raised edge so that you'd be able to put your color in and it would not get away from you, right? So your color's not just rolling all over the place, it's staying put, which is what you want if you're going to do this technique. Now, I have done these where I just do 1 glaze or 2 glazes, and you can absolutely always do that. But isn't this just so fun and so bright? Oh, you just got the 2 mats that were available. Yeah, this one is a great one for flooding. The little flowers here, the cherries are good for flooding. The daisies over here. So all of these can be flooded. And one of the things that, we'll go back to the front camera for me. One of the things whenever I'm designing a rolling pin or a mat, I'm always thinking about, yeah, you can just glaze it with a glaze, of course, absolutely. But I want to make it so that you can do color flooding if you want, or staining with pigments or underglazes. So sometimes I will take just Speedball dark blue, right? And I'll water it down, apply it to the entire surface, wipe back, and then do like a light blue celadon on top. So it's like blue on blue. And that just creates a little depth and it's just another way to use the same glaze with just one underglaze. So, all right. So I am hearing in my ear that they're getting the camera fixed for Paula. You know, all the storms they've been having down there in Texas, I didn't even know if we'd be able to do tonight's broadcast because the weather has been so uncertain for her. But it looks like they're getting it fixed is what I'm hearing. So I'm really excited. And don't worry, you're not going to miss anything. This is all recorded and it will be available for replay. Also, if we need to go over, since I'm the one who sets what time stuff happens, I'm saying it'll be all right. We can go over if we need to. So as soon as they let me know they're ready, we'll jump back in with Paula and she'll continue on her tulip. I can give you a preview of what we're going to be doing next in prime time. So we're just talking about color flooding and all this texture. I have a 2-for-1 class planned for my premium members. Iced tea glasses. So you can put the little indent in for your straw, but you don't have to. So here's one I made that just has this cute cherry on it, but I know you want to see the other one, don't you? I'm going to show you 2 things to make. We're going to make one that we use texture on the entire piece. And then I'm going to teach you how to make one with no texture because we are going to paint this super cute fox face. And if you don't want to paint a fox face, I have other classes. We did the people vases, you know, a couple of years ago. You could go paint peoples. We could also do kitty cats. We did owl cups. We did kitties. We've got a lot of stuff. So if you want to do animal or critter cups, got you covered. So this one's going to be mine. Oh, we're ready? I'm ready. So Paula is ready. Kevin is ready. Let's head back to Texas and Paula can continue on with her demonstration on painting this beautiful tulip.
Anyway, so hello everyone again. I'm going to switch my camera down and get started. So
Yay,
this is the
it
piece.
worked.
And what I was trying to say before is I didn't get it glazed because right now my kiln is down and I've only got one ceramic kiln. So I apologize, but I will post it later. So as Jess has told you, there's a PDF with basic instructions. I put a lot of pictures in there for you and you've got your pattern and a larger picture of the tile. I did use for the stencil in the background on this. This is by Color Life Designs, and all of that is written down. And it's a really cool, like a collage kind of thing with lace and swirl. You could use any stencil, and I'll explain.
Oh, I like that pattern. That's pretty.
Yeah, it's kind of cool. So anyway, okay, so what you need to do is lay your tissue paper. This is just inexpensive tissue paper over your pattern, draw it with a pencil if you've never done that before. And then because I'm working on greenware tonight, because my kiln is down, so I originally did this on 010, which makes it a little harder, easier to work with. I don't have to be quite as careful. So I've got this on a towel, just hopefully I won't break it, but I did put a couple of smaller tiles out here just in case. So then what you want to do is trace over the lines that you've drawn with the pencil, trace them over with the ultrafine Sharpie marker. You can also use those Staedtler Tri-Plus fine liners that I've talked about before. Okay, you can use those. I like those on bisque. Then that transfers your pattern to your wear. Okay, and I'm going to like speed dim and paint here so we can get all of this done. So the first thing that I did, I kind of build things as I go. I took the medium sumi brush. Okay, these are my sumi brushes. You can find them on the website. And Kevin, did we get that coupon code up for them to use on a regular basis? Premium members, right. Okay. Okay, so if you're a premium member and there's something you're needing, be sure and check for that code to be able to get a discount. Okay, so I'm using the color concentrates, the translucent underglazes. They are transparent or translucent, however you want to refer to them. I'm going to use 102. Always shake them. They're thixotropic, meaning they're thickened when they sit still. So I'm going to put out a little bit of the white, and then I'm going to make a wash out of it. So I'm going to put water in another well. And if you know that your water, you can use distilled. I don't. I just use my regular tap water because I know I'm okay, but there's some, counties that maybe you've got too much of something that you want to use. And the reason distilled water versus just right from the tap. The reason I'm using white on the background, I'm going to do what I call my mush mush technique. And let me zoom in just a little bit closer. Is because right now, earthenware, until this latest show, all of the earthenware kind of has a yellow cast to it, and I didn't want that. Now I could have base coated the piece with white to start with, and I didn't think about that when I started, so I decided to do this instead. So it'll give it, you'll have kind of that yellowy ivory color that's showing through, and then this white, which gives it more of a vintage type look. So I just ran with it, right? So just constantly bounce. So the only time that I'm picking the brush up is when I go get more product, okay? So I'm going over, keep that stirred up, because remember your product is heavier than the water, so it falls to the bottom of your well. So constantly keep that stirred up. And I probably won't, because the computer issue won't have time to get everything done, but we'll get as much as we can. We may not get all the leaves. Oh, and I did notice it on the pattern, and I can change it. I only had 2 leaves on the tulip, and then I sketched one in, and I forgot about it, and I forgot to put it on the pattern. So you can always just take one of the same leaves and just bring over one of these leaves and trace a portion of it also, and have 3. So I apologize for that. It's
I had
been
a question about your
okay.
greenware. Is it leather hard or bone dry that you're
Bone
working
dry.
on?
This is
It's
bone
bone
dry
dry. Okay.
earthenware. Yeah. You could do it on your, your cone 5, cone 6, 04. It would work the same way. You'd have the same application as far as the same absorption. Okay, so if you get it on an area, and I'll show you when I do that in just a minute. If you get it on an area, there's a way to get it off, but I'm going to move to the next step. So as I said, I build it as I go. And then I thought, okay, I want to maybe, I was going for like a barn wood type distressed look. So I added 103 vellum gray. Once again, dispense some of that, shake it up. And then what you're going to do is I'm going to just go right into the same well. I'm going to put more water in it. And I'm going to pick up 1 scoop of that gray and mix it in there. But then I'm going to switch brushes. And we've used this brush before. I think it was on the white flower with the blue background, if I remember right. This is the 1426 1-inch Mottler brush. It's a stiffer. It's the same hairs as the stencil brushes, if anybody has used those or purchased those. So what I'm going to do is go in here and grab some of that. Let me move that down so you can see it. Some of that wash. And then I'm just going to streak it up and down. And I did this first. I could have left this out of the step because I ended up using the stencil, but maybe you don't have a stencil to use and you want to just put like a wood grain in it. So this would work. And because it's stiffer, it's going to allow you to drag those hairs or the color along the area. So just keep it flat. Now you're going to say, Paula, you're getting all over your design. I'm going to show you. I'm going to rinse this brush very light. So I rinsed out the Mottler, and you can, because it's a stiffer brush, watch this. I can take that and I can push off, just push it back, tell it to get back inside the fence, so to speak. So you can push it off and out of that area so that you don't have any of that color in there, which is kind of cool. A softer brush like the Sumi, you can do it, but this one's going to get the job done quicker for you. And the other colors are going to be darker, so it's not like it'll make that much difference. But let's say you change the colors and you needed to know a way to get that off of there. So that's what I would do. Okay. All right. So then we're going to the tulip. I feel like I'm racing, Jessica.
You're good. You're good. It's only 5:25 here, so we're good.
So I'm using CC 122 lemon peel. I'm also going to use CC 124 yellow ochre, and my labels are all worn off because I use them so much. Put out a little bit of that, and you notice I'm shaking every time. I'm also going to go into 116 Florida orange. I like to build color, And multiple thin layers is better than one thick, heavy layer on any underglaze. I don't care if it's opaque or transparent. Then I'm going to use CC 111 red geranium also. And these are shading colors. All right, so we're going to take the medium sumi brush, and you can see that it's got a brighter yellow at the top, and I've covered over it, but there's a darker yellow at the bottom of each section. And then I'm adding orange, and then I'm going to add a little bit of red in there just for more contrast and shading. Could you see that? I think you could. I forgot to look up at the camera. Sorry. Okay. All right. So I'm going to show this a couple of times, but you want to water load your brush. So bring it over to clean water, drag off, and I'm dragging and I'm turning the brush as I'm doing it to remove the excess to get a point on the brush. So that's what I call sumi shading. So it's water as your carrier. I'm going to tip into the lemon peel, and I'm going to tuck this up at the top because it's the lighter color. Sit it down, mush, mush, mush. And I want to walk it one direction and walk it the other direction. So if I start in the middle, constantly rinsing and reloading that way every time, start in the middle and walk one way and walk the other way, you'll have a better distribution of the color. Because if you start at one side and you go across, you're not going to have anything left by the time you get over to the edge. Okay. So that's a good rule. It doesn't matter what you're painting. This is what I do. So starting on this one, same thing, tuck it in. Always aim the brush where you're going. I'm going to grab a little bit more color because I know that I've got enough water still on there. Now we've got a little point. So we're going to have to draw that point in, and then we can start pressing. So do you see how I'm pressing down? So I'm allowing that color to bleed back into the water on the brush is what's happening. It'd be similar to, if anybody is familiar with floating color, same thing. We usually do a float of color with a square shader, and this is a way to do it with your sumi brushes. The sumi brushes come in 4 sizes. We have the medium, the large, small, and the mini. So depending on which area you're working, you may want to change the size of the brush. Just remember, the larger the brush, the softer the look you will get with your color. So sit it down, mush, mush, mush. So I'm pressing all the way down. I'm almost scared to go to the side camera, but I think it's important to show them. Let's make sure we can. Okay, can you see that? Okay, so I want you to see how much pressure I'm putting down. Okay, so the brush is upright and I'm pressing down, sit, bounce, bounce, bounce. So I'm not lifting like this, because if you lift, you get little rabbit tracks, I call it. Okay, that's exactly what you're going to see. So you want to bounce it, bounce, 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 bounce. Okay, so you can see the brush is all the way down. Okay, I just wanted to make sure that they understood that. I'm going to switch back to the top. All right, so now we're going to turn the piece around, because now we want to aim the brush the other direction, and we're going to use the 124 yellow ochre, which is the darker of the 2 yellows, and I'm going to touch that color to the bottom and bring it up. When I say bring it up, I'm sitting it down, mush, 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 walking it to the right, walk to the left. And do you see how I'm gradually coming back or up that petal? And now let's grab, I still got quite a bit of water, and I'm tilting this so you can kind of see it. I'm going to draw it in, and then I'm going to mush it down so that it bleeds back into the water on the brush. The water is the carrier. That's what gives it that watercolor look. Any questions, Jess?
So when you say walking, are you twisting the brush in your fingers?
I am not. So let's go back to the side camera. Okay, so when I walk it back, I'm starting at the place where I want it, the darkest, and then I'm moving the brush back and forth, and I'm coming back down that petal. So I'm walking it down so that it'll have less product on it, and all the heavy product is at one end of it. Does that make sense? So I'm just moving the brush backwards or up the petal and you'll have less in your brush as you're doing that. Okay, so let's do this one again. So let's start down here, set it down, mush, 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 and then I'm pulling it or moving myself up that petal, and you have less in that brush as you're going. Does that make sense to everybody? Does that answer the question, or?
I think it does. They haven't replied, but I think so.
Okay. I didn't know if that was your question or their question.
So we had another question, which
Okay.
do your pieces crack at all while you're walking it back and forth? Because you're working on bone dry right
Bone
now.
dry. Nope. Never had it. I mean, this is what, 1/4 of an inch thick. I've never had anything happen like that.
Yeah.
I think it
But if
would be
someone's,
a stress,
go ahead.
if you had a stress crack or something, then it would definitely weaken. But this is a cast piece. You could slab it out also. It's easier for me to work on, the cast pieces just because I don't have time to roll out and I don't have the space that you have. So,
But that's fine. Everybody works differently.
yeah, but it works
So,
the same way,
right.
doesn't matter what cone of material you're working on. So here I'm down at the base, and then I'm just moving it back up into the center of that area. So that way the concentrated color is down near the other one to create that shadow. Okay. And another thing that you can do to see what you've got, you can take a fine mist bottle and water, just water, tap water, and you can mist that and you can see the color that you have there. So you're like, I may want to bring some more of the lighter yellow down further. So let's go back and grab some of it, start in the middle again, and then walk it down. And same thing, if you want to start up here, you're just intensifying. Every layer that you add makes it darker, less transparent. It's still going to have transparency to it. It's just you're adding more color. So I'm just tipping. I know I've got enough water, so I'm just adding a little more of the yellow down towards that middle. You could even take and brush on a coat. I mean, there's multiple ways you could do this. I'm just showing you one option to doing it. Okay. I'm going to let that dry because we've misted it, done everything. I'm going to work on the leaves real quick. We're going to use 161 green leaves. Let's turn this around. And I'm using the pure concentrate. At this point, you can mix with the medium if you wanted, but this is greenware. So if you mix with the gloss medium, which is our glaze for earthenware, it would be shiny in that area. Okay. So just keep that in mind, and you would never want to put that on the bottom of a piece either. Okay. And 164 mountain pine. I did put 163 on the list, and I did not use it. So I really was not with it when I was making this up.
Well, you've had a lot going on lately, so.
It's been crazy. Okay, so we're going to do the top side of the leaf. So same thing, start in the middle of that area, let the bristles bend and do the work for you as you're working it down or across the area a little bit more. You can also switch to the smaller brush if you want, but remember that the larger the brush, the softer the look that you're going to get. Okay. And I got to remember this is actual greenware so I don't bust it. That's all I need.
Now, if someone wanted to use bisqueware, they could.
Yeah, you
this?
can. Yeah, absolutely. It just absorbs. I mean, you're going to get a better concentration of color on your, if you're working on stoneware or porcelain on the 04 bisque. But when you're on 04 earthenware, it's already partially, it's not as, it's not as porous as it is in greenware. So in greenware state, you're going to get better absorption of color, I guess is the best way to explain it. So if you like really bright, intense. Now, and I forgot to trace it on this one, but there is a turn back over here on this side. So if I want that turn back to be a little more yellow, you could use either one of the yellows. We'll use the 24. I think I actually used the 22 on it, if I remember right. and just add some there. This is just water out here. So water's your friend. Don't, as long as you're using clean water and not real super, super dirty water, then you should be absolutely fine. And then I'm going to go right on top of that with the leaf green, the 161. And I'm just going to drag it down to the tip of it and then go back here and mush. Now, if you get it outside where you want it, once again, turn it. You can push that. See, it's almost like you can erase it. And then maybe up here, if I wanted more of a point, I can just push it back towards it. And if you see any like splotchy areas, then I would go back and work them, okay? And you can check that by misting. I don't want to mist it right now because we're going to add more water to it. So now I'm going to turn it around. I constantly turn my piece. That's something that a lot of people don't do. They sit and work on it in one direction. And with this method, you really need to be turning the piece. And you can send me pictures and I can tell you exactly if you didn't do that, because I can see that there's a bold line as opposed to a faded line. So now I'm going to tip in, still water loading, dragging off to a point, tip into the 164 mountain pine. You could use the laurel green if you didn't have these greens. I just wanted it a little more softer and not so harsh. Okay. Constantly rinsing the brush. I'm going to go back into that again and just soften that a little bit more. And then I'm going to go to this one. So I'm starting, you notice I'm always starting in the middle and I'm working it one direction and back the other direction. So you're really getting more than one coat on there because of bouncing it and moving it. And even when I start again, I'm going to start there in the middle. I'm going to rinse and I'm going to clean that edge up. See how easily that is? Very easy to take. It's almost like an eraser. Erase it off, so to speak. Then I'm going to turn because I'm going to aim this direction. And Jess, if there's any questions, just interrupt me.
So we did have a really good question. How would you protect this project if you needed to take a break while you're working on it?
Well, if it's on your work table, I would just lay a paper towel over it or, a bath towel or hand towel or something. Depends on if you have cats or, animals that's going to get into it. I don't have anything like that. So I just leave mine sitting here from one day to the other. But if you're worried about dust or anything, then definitely just lay something over it to protect it, whether it be a paper towel or your pattern. You could just lay, you could just come in here and just say, okay, I'm going to walk away for a little bit, and you could put something on it and it's not going to blow away if you've got fans in the room, that type of thing. Okay. All right. So I'm just going to go back and add a little bit more of this over here. And then I can pull this all the way down. We also have under that turn back, if you want to create that little fold, you can tuck that color in along there and just kind of walk it. Make sure you erase anything that you need to. I'm trying to be perfect and I don't need to be. I'm trying to hurry.
You're fine. You got 20 minutes and I can give you more if you need them.
20 minutes. Oh, no problem, right? Thanks. Okay, we're going back.
We could go 30 if you need to.
We're going back to the tulip. So we're going to just add the orange. So this is the Florida orange. Tuck it in and add that for extra shading. If you need to retrace your lines, you can. Hopefully you can see my lines. Okay. And you noticed I'm still using the medium sumi brush, but you know what? I'm going to change it so you can see the difference. So I'm going to go to the small sumi brush, water load, drag off to a point, tip into my color because maybe I need that to tuck it in, and then press down so that you let it fade out. Because if you're just on the tippy toes, you're just drawing an orange line. You're never going to get that faded or graduated look to it. So constantly reload and tip into the color and tuck that in. So let's go in here behind this one, make sure we have. Okay, so let's look at that. On your stems, you can, while that's drying for a second, since we're, when you're doing this originally, you've got all the time in the world. So now I'm just taking some water and I've slightly thinned the 161 down, and I'm just going to pull it down to that stem all the way. Okay. I'm not going to worry about the little calyx yet. And I'm rinsing this off by erasing it, as I call it, just swishing it back and forth. Okay. If you have any hairs that come out of your brushes, just roll them off with your finger when that area is dry. I know they will burn out, but let me tell you, they also, when they burn off, they remove the color that's in that area. So if you put color over the top of them, you're going to see a channel. I've personally experienced that, so I would definitely recommend that you take care of it by getting rid of them. Okay, we're going to go into the 111 and let's add some of that. And I did not put that on the original one. I just noticed I only put it back here. So we're going to adapt it. I had green on that one. All right, so if you see an area that just really is too strong, you just come back with just a clean brush and water and mush it out, so to speak. All right, let's add some down here. So every layer of color will deepen that value in that area. Remember, I'm going to repeat it again. Multiple thin coats is better than one thick, heavy coat. And I can't stress that enough. These are so concentrated, guys, that if you put them on thick like you do an opaque underglaze, you could run into, cracking, chipping. So just be careful with doing that. Okay, so I'm going to go back and kind of take some of that red off of there because I did not want it on there. I'm going to go back to the leaf green. I want some of it on here. If you have too much water, what I'm doing is patting it on a towel just to remove some of that excess water out of my brush. And I'm walking this color back up that petal. Okay, so you've got the green there. It kind of fades out. It's like it's new and it's coming in there. Okay. Now I noticed also I've got a couple of little red spots that when you lift the brush off your piece, if you're doing it too quickly, it'll splatter the color that's on your brush, so to speak. So just be aware of that. Double check your surface before you finish up. Okay. All right. So then as far as this area here, this watercolory in the background, it's like a drippy effect. I'm going to use lots of water. And this was 010. It worked really well on that. We'll see if it works as well on this greenware since, like I said, my kiln went down and I still don't have one. So I'm going to mist the area. Okay, first I'm going to get lots of water in my brush and I'm going to grab the yellow and I'm going from the side. And I'm going to go grab I'm going to put some water, I think, down here in my palette so that I can grab it and it's not as, so lots of water, let it run. If you need to tilt, it can just run and drip. But you can kind of give it the striations, to give you the illusion. If you go like this, you're going to get around it. If you go from the side, do you see how you're getting? And then you can come in and you can mist that even more. And it's running down. So I'm tilting my tile so that it's running down more. All right, so I'm going to grab some green and let's grab it over here. So lots of water, just let it do its thing. Let it run. And if you want, you can pull those lines in like that if it's not working for you. On the bisque, it's going to run a little bit more than what you're seeing here, but you can always add water, tilt, and then just kind of pick up a little bit of color and let it run. It's kind of a cool effect. Not for everybody. It's kind of one of those watercolor techniques from, making cards and stuff like that. All right, so I'm going to mist over here. And I'm going to grab the green again. I've tilted my tile. See how that ran? See, that's what you're looking for. So you can pretty much add any color that you want. You could even mush in the background if you wanted to. You wouldn't have to do that. You didn't have to do this at all. You could just do the stencil. Keep misting and working that while it's wet. And it'll just run. Now I'm going to go back this way, and I am going to have to be careful because this is greenware. If I get too much on here, it could be interesting, right? Just goes with the week that I'm having.
Oh, no. So if someone's nervous spraying their greenware so much, absolutely, you could do this on a bisque tile or a bisque piece.
Yeah, absolutely. Or the O10, if you have, like I said, I did the O10 years ago because of seniors, or if I was traveling and I was supplying the product, the greenware, it travels much better than greenware because you just never know what's going to happen. So you can just go back and forth with different yellows, greens, and I'm not going to finish all that, but you get the idea behind it. Just take a liner brush, the 3600 number 2 liner, to pull in your calyx. So just load in the light green, drag through that darker green. I'm laying the brush more on the side, and I'm kind of going like this as I'm going so that it'll kind of wiggle both of those colors through there at the same time. I do that with branches also. You can also go underneath like this, and that's another way that you can do it. And you get a nice wiggly, but just as long as you get those colors on there. Okay. All right, then I also took and used the lighter green. Remember, we shaded it down here. I'm also going to pull some more detail lines in there just to have more veining that show up on that front petal. Just multiple thin little lines. Okay. And let's see. Oh, we need to shade the vein on the leaves. So I'm using the small semi brush, water load, tip into the mountain pine, the 164. And I'm just going to shimmy it along that center, on the lower side of that center vein, so that I've got that shading. And I'm going at it from the side, not like this, because if you go like that, you're going to draw a line, literally. So shimmy it back and forth, a little bit of pressure on the brush to let it bleed back into the water that's on there. Same thing here. I think this will be the fastest I've painted something like this before. Oh my goodness. All right. And I see what did Kevin say? Oh, thank you. Okay. All right. So I'm just kind of pulling, make sure there's no obvious like white areas showing. And I keep touching my face with my hands that has greenware. So I'll probably have greenware dust all over my face. All right. So then what we want to do is we're going to go into and do the stencil. Let me grab another. You need to have a new shop towel. I like to fold it into quarters. And I'm going to turn my gray around here. I'm going to use the size 20 stencil brush. We have 5 different sizes. There is a clay share kit that has 2 of them in it. So I'm loading in the vellum gray, and I need to get some more. You could do this in any color. So when you just load the tip of it, and I'm tapping it on my palette, and then I'm going to my shop towel and I'm making circles to remove the excess product. If it's too wet, it's going to weep underneath. Okay, so this stencil has that little swirly in the corner. I'm going to lay it so that it comes off the tile. I think you can see that in the video. I don't want to line it up exactly. I want it off so it just fades off the edge. Okay, I'm going to do circles to the right, circles to the left, and I think I just threw that brush down. That's probably not a good idea. I'm going to go side and overhead, and I'm going to move this out of the way for just a second because I want you to make sure that you understand you're going circles to the right, circles to the left, and you could tape this in place. I like to just hold it. And do you notice there's hardly any pressure on the brush at all. And just keep going in the area that you want to transfer. And then we've got this grid work. I don't want all of that showing, but I want some of it. I want a hint of it. So you don't have, just because the stencil is there, you don't have to use all of it. You can do your own thing. So do you see how it just fades out? Okay. So
yeah, it's beautiful.
It gives it even more of a vintage type look. Okay, so then you can take that off, make sure you don't have anything on the back of your stencil, and you can move it over. And I think I just did some grid work up in this corner. Once again, you could do your own thing. So if you've just got a little bit there, it just gives it that illusion. And then down here, I just put a little bit, and then I had a little bit more on this side. So it's really up to you on, so maybe you want to just do this area here. And do you see there was enough in my brush that I can get just a little soft look of it? And let's go over here. And when you're pulling off on your towel, make sure you use a new area, because if you do it on the same area, it's going to stay too wet. Okay. So keep that in mind. All right. All right. Let's go back just to the overhead. So that's kind of cool. You've got just a vintage look to it, right? Okay. And then, believe it or not, I think I've covered all the steps we're going to outline. Oh my goodness. Whew.
Did it. I love the stencil. I love the layer. I love layered looks. So the stencil just adds another layer to it.
Yeah. And you don't see, you don't see a lot of that striation of the gray. And it's one of those things, depending on how heavy you put it on. So, you could do it in browns if you wanted more of a wood grain. You could mask off the tulip and do it. There's so many different variations. We're going to use the 101 Cobalt Black to detail with. And I know we're probably getting close on time, so I'll just show a little bit.
You got 7 minutes.
Oh, wow.
We can go.
Any questions? Well,
people are saying they love the stencil effect and that it's awesome and it's beautiful. They love watching your demonstrations. They could watch you all day.
Oh, well, thank you. Yeah, and just a reminder, if you're new to me, on my blog on the website, the videos are there. If I give you any patterns, they're there. And then there's lots of Clayshare ones that I've done. So I've thinned the black down with some water here, and I think this is key. People, pull your brush through your color, load it. You paid for all the hairs, you get to use all of them. Don't load the color just on the very tip of it. And that is such a common thing that a lot of people do. And that's my little joke about it. You paid for all of it, you get to use all of it. All right, so thick and thin, when you outline, you can apply more pressure and get thicker lines. So just start, and if I wanted it thicker, I just pressed down and added a little more pressure to make it a thicker line. Pull up, thick, thin, thick, thin. Do we have a way to give away a tile, one of these tiles? Because I sure don't need.
You don't need to?
I don't need to, unless somebody I know needs one of them.
I wonder who that could be. Somebody you know would never say no.
I didn't know if Kevin wanted to. Okay.
I don't think we can just randomly pull a name. We have to put it through the random number generator. I know
Do
all the
all the
randomness.
do all the comments show up on the ClayShare website,
hmm
Kevin, or
Yes. Yes.
even the YouTube ones?
No, the YouTube are on YouTube.
Yeah, so there's no way to
So
kind of spin like I do. Okay. All right.
there was a question, if you don't have that stencil brush, can you use another brush for stencils?
Um, you know, it's a synthetic nylon. I'm telling you, if you do a lot of stencil work and you don't have these, you need them. There's a package of 4. There's another one you can buy, or like I said, the ClayShare brush set has 2 mop sizes, 2 different stencil brushes, and the liner in it, and that's a real good beginner starter package. The older brushes, and I don't even know that I have one handy because I haven't done it in years. The older stencil brushes were domed instead of flat. And so you had different lengths of hairs. And what happened is you were getting it underneath the stencil. So that's why loading these just on the tip and keeping it straight up and down, just very little pressure, and doing circles to the right, circles to the left will get it in and out of the different areas of that stencil to make sure you're catching all the edges. Um, you might be able to use the mop and lightly go over it, but you take the chance because the mops, they hold so much product, and all your natural hair brushes hold a lot of product. So you're going to end up getting a mess as opposed to these. So, and if you can only buy one, get you a medium size if you're budget friendly. Like the 16 is a good size. That's a good overall one that you don't have to, you can do a lot with it. The larger the stencil, the larger the brush I use, or if I'm trying to cover it quicker. So you see how I'm constantly going back, loading that brush. I'm actually going to thin some more down. I don't thin the whole puddle of black because I think that was just water there. What happens is it's going to evaporate before you ever use it. Okay. There's no reason to do that. So same thing. And you can pull in like this and create, so pull down as if it's got a little torn edge to it or texture. Feel like I'm speed painting here. Okay. Any other questions? So you can do this. You can even do this as a Myolica if you wanted, Majolica.
Yeah.
Yeah, over the top of, like a matte glaze. I might have to try that. I know somebody the other day. Oh, go ahead.
Go ahead. No, you go ahead. I was just gonna.
Somebody
Someone
the
had a
other day
question.
had said something about, can you use the concentrates to tint a glaze? Yeah, I don't know why you couldn't do that. I have not personally done it myself, but it's pure pigment, so I can't imagine that it wouldn't work. I mean, I've done it with my own on earthenware and stuff. So they were asking about cone 6 glaze, and I don't know why it wouldn't work. Okay, so then pull up some little tiny fine lines. You're just staying, can you see? I'm just on the tippy toes, I call it, just itty bitty, and you just keep pulling little tiny fine lines. And you make them different lengths also. That's a key. Grab some more and just pull. Now, I did not put any here because you wouldn't see those. It's too far up the petal, and I'm constantly turning my piece so that it's easy to work on. And I might have a couple right here. Okay, then you've got your calyx. And I like to wiggle. You don't have to stay within the lines. I used to do that. I don't anymore. And I say, you know what, if you make them all look like that, then it looks like you meant for it to happen, right? You don't have to be perfect every time. So that's one way to get around it. All right, and then you would sign your piece. And I like to sign mine inside a leaf. And with practice, you can make your brush do this also, I promise. And I date. Whoops. It's hard to do that and talk at the same time. Whew. Oh my goodness. I may have forgotten a step, but
no, you did it. You did it all. You did amazing. It's beautiful. Oh my gosh. Question, how would you clean your brushes?
how do I clean my brushes? You know, Mako has a good brush cleaner, but honestly, guys, I just swish it. Okay. And I take my towel, I swish, and do you see there's still a little bit of black on there? So swish again and just keep laying it down there until I don't see any color. The other thing that you can do is you can take, and I don't have mine back here where I can get to it, like a bar of soap or your brush cleaner in your hand, and then just, you know, if it was here, so you had some water and you started seeing, let's put some color here, and I've rinsed it, and I still have green. So you would want to clean it again, you know, put your soap, whoops, and just keep doing it till you don't see anything, whether you're using a brush cleaner or if you're just using water. That's it. But I'm telling you, this is all I do. Hardly ever. Once in a great while on the stencil brushes, I do take them to the sink. But I have this, I think you put this on your Amazon.
I have one too. Yeah, I have that.
It's got a little rake in the bottom here. Now, don't go back and forth, but with the stencil brushes, go one direction, one direction. I'm turning the handle one direction, because if you go back and forth, you're going to destroy. It's like turning yourself upside down and dragging you on the sidewalk. You wouldn't want to do that back and forth. You wouldn't want to do it at all. But if I tell you that, you'll remember, hopefully, that you're only going one direction. Okay. And then I just take and go to my towel and make sure that I get all the water out. And if these brushes, you really need to let them dry before you use them again, because there's, you know, if it's cool and damp, it's still got product in it. I did bring, do we have a second? I've got.
We do. Absolutely. We got a second for you. Always.
Those that are new may not know, but we've got different kits available. This is the, they say CC Enhancer and Underglaze kits because we use them in my glass painting world too. So this is kit 1. There's kit 2 and 3. You can get all 41 colors. Or the most popular one right now is this guy. And this is the Underglaze Sampler, because it comes with some of that medium. It has the gloss medium. It has a pint of it in there. And the gloss medium is so that you can manipulate and move and get a really nice watercolor look. So that's, and you can always mix 2 colors together to get another color, which is really nice and makes it go a lot further. Whew. Okay.
You did it. All right. Wow. With a little tech difficulty at the start, but amazing the rest of it.
Well, thank you.
So people can, so folks asking, what do you do with your leftover color in your palettes?
I do not put it back in my jar, and I don't stick my brush in my bottle.
Just
either.
Keep painting. Just stop that. I don't know who
Sorry,
does that.
I have to pay. I cringe when she does that. I'm like,
I just did that earlier when I was working on my little fox, and I was sticking the brush in the bottle, and I was thinking about you. And then I realized when I'm going to do my tutorial next that I'm going to get a palette and pour some out and stick it in the bottle.
If it's your bottle, you can put it back in, but I don't put it back in class. And I usually try to paint something else with it, unless I put out too much before I ever touch it with a brush and a dirty brush, then I'll put it back in my bottle. But other than that, I scrap it. Sorry. But you know, I have this color company and I have access. So
so for you, it's different, but you could easily put saran wrap over that. Or if you have a palette with a lid,
you know what works great is press and seal.
Oh yeah, the press and seal containers. Yes.
Press it. No, just press it around.
Oh, the press and seal.
Yeah, right on your palette. It works great.
I haven't tried that.
Or I'll take another palette and turn it upside down on it, and that at least keeps it, you know, fresh. I've even taken like a sponge. And let me go back over here real quick. So I've even taken my sponge if I have to walk away and maybe I need to do red later. So this sponge is damp and that will keep it moist. Or like I said, take another palette and lay over it so that it keeps the air from getting to it. That's what you're trying to do. So, all right. Thanks for having me.
Oh, thank you. So they can find all of your beautiful colors, your brushes, PDFs, tutorials, and everything on colorsforearth.com.
Right. Okay.
Right. And you've got a discount code for premium members of ClayShare. So
Thank you.
they can check that out on ClayShare. So Paula, thank you so much as always. It is a
Welcome.
pleasure
Thank
to
you.
have you joining us again.
All
And I'll be catching up with you soon later.
Okay. Take
Thanks,
care.
Paula.
All right.
Thanks.
Thanks, everyone.
Another amazing tutorial with Paula. Little rocky start. You know, they've been having weather issues down there in Texas, but she did it and it was amazing, wasn't it? And there's so many cool techniques that she shared with you. Now, of course, you can go back and watch the replay of this on clayshare.com. We'll have it there along with the PDF. And you can, as I mentioned earlier, go to colorsforearth.com to see what else Paula has. So we're going to take a little break. I'll be back in 15 minutes. Well, it's less than 15 minutes now. 11 minutes, something like that. I'll be back and I'm going to be doing the iced tea cup tutorial. I'm going to show you 2 different versions of the cup. Well, one with texture, one without texture, because we're going to paint the super cute little fox that I stuck the brush in the bottle to do. But I won't do that for mine. I will put it on the palette just for Paula. All right, everybody, we'll be back next week with another great live demonstration. In the meantime, go check out clayshare.com. You know, we have an app. Did you know? Well, we do. So if you go to your app store, you can search up ClayShare and you can download the app. We have a free trial, so you can check everything out that we offer. We have thousands of classes. We have workshops. We've been doing this we're going into our 9th year. So there's a lot of content and there's a lot of stuff happening, always something new and exciting going on here at ClayShare. So don't miss out. Go check it out. I'll see you all next week, everybody. That's my premium members. I'll see you in about 10 minutes. Bye, everybody.